Hey everybody, made it to the city of Memphis last Sunday. So I had a pretty interesting topic that I think a lot of people would get into, being the state of Harley-Davidson. That seems to be on a lot of people's minds. Will Harley make it? Are they gonna go under? What's their major problem? There's been some really great content out there of, you know, even speculation as to why Harley is in the state that they're in right now. They're just taking on water, and they're trying to figure out how to plug the holes. So I got a pretty good story. This is the great Harley scam. I fell prey to the marketing model in 2015. So I'll tell the story. In 2015, actually we need to go back a little further than that. In 2013, I bought my first motorcycle. It was a BMW F650 GS. It was a 2003. I'm gonna go right here. We'll go up to North Parkway. But as I was riding around and I was reading new motorcycle magazines and I was seeing advertisements for new bikes that were coming out, I was feeling a little bit self-conscious about my 2003 BMW F650 GS, bone stock, right? Not a pannier, not a aftermarket thing on the whole bike. So it looked really 2003. And to be honest, that bike probably didn't even really look that cool in 2003. And I would see these guys on Harley-Davidsons, and they would give me the scowl. So I was self-conscious, to say the least. I started to get a little antsy, and I started to want something different than my BMW. And Harley-Davidson had their sights set on me, exactly me. I was 25, borderline hipster, 160 pounds. I liked flannel, Wayfarers. I liked the retro look. It started in 2012, I think, with the Nightster. What would that have been? The XL 1200N model, which I still actually really love that motorcycle. I guess it would have been 2014 or 2013, they started building the Iron 883, which is a lower displacement Sportster model for Harley-Davidson. And that was the one. That was the one I was seeing on billboards, in magazines. That was the one where I was seeing all these aftermarket parts on Revzilla. And like, I just knew that this was the bike I wanted. October of 2015, I went to Bergen County Harley-Davidson with full intentions of test riding an Iron 883. And I did. The guy at the dealership rolled out a beautiful, you know, the matte black Iron 883. Did they have another color? I guess they had orange or something like that. But this is the matte black one. And I rode it, and it was fantastic. The pipes were louder than my BMW. They weren't that loud, but they were louder than my BMW. A lot more power than my BMW. Plus, I just felt like I looked super cool. This is me now. I get it. I want to be this hipster rough rider kind of guy. I want to be, you know, Peter Fonda, and this is my chance. This is my opportunity to actually do that. So I got back to the lot. By the way, I probably rode this bike 5 miles. I pulled up in the lot. The guy at the dealership, he had a XL 1200X sitting out in the parking lot, and that is the 48. Big bike feel on a really small motorcycle. And he goes, listen, you know, there's a good chance that as you're going through your motorcycling career that you're going to outgrow that 885cc engine. And in that case, you would be trading up and spending more money to get a 1200, which is what this is. So maybe you should give this a whirl real quick and just see how you like it. Just see if it feels right. And it was louder, and it was more powerful, and it was lower to the ground, so I felt a little bit more stable on it. The Memphis Pyramid. Bing! What a blingy pyramid. Long story short, I bought the 48. I spent $11,000 on a brand new Harley-Davidson Sportster with a 2.1 gallon peanut tank. Now, any motorcyclist who has any experience with anything other than a BMW F650 GS understands that a 2.1 gallon peanut tank gets you about 65 miles and then you got to fill up for gas. But Harley-Davidson told me that it was cool, that it was gonna be awesome. And so I did it. I freaking pulled the trigger. I actually really liked that bike at first. You know, it made me look cool, and that's what I was into. And now I had a niche, right? Now I was in the market. I knew where I needed to be. And it made me feel like I was a motorcyclist. Because with the BMW, I didn't understand what that bike was for. I just thought it was like this sort of goofy looking early 2000s motorcycle, which, I mean, technically it was, I guess. There's the big river. There's a barge. There's a scooter or something. No, that's a, oh dude, that's a 390 Duke. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen a 390 Duke on the road. I've only seen them in the showroom. So we're going to Arkansas. Let's go across the river. And I'll tell you the end of my story. So yeah, here's a dual sport motorcycle farting across the Mississippi River Bridge. And actually, once you get up to speed, it gets pretty comfortable. I'm going 75, pretty easy right here. I bought a set of Biltwell Chumps. They're about an 8-inch rise handlebar for the Harley Sportster. I got a Burley Sissy bar that I put on the back, and it ended up being a really cool motorcycle. But how much time and money did I spend on those modifications when I could have just gone for a used Nightster, or I don't know, a bike that would have been more comfortable in the long haul? Because here's the story. My buddy David Lane and I decided we wanted to take a long-term motorcycle trip together, and we were going to ride down to the Jack Daniel's distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee. So we were going to leave on a Friday night, or maybe it was a Saturday, ride all day Saturday, take our time, take local highways, eat dinner, spend the night, and then spend all day at the distillery on the Sunday. About 45 minutes into the ride, I realized that I was going to be in for it, and made this bike a lot more roadworthy, a lot more road capable than it was off the showroom floor. But I mean, quite frankly, it wasn't very comfortable at all. And this is Harley's great scam. Harley knows that those bikes aren't comfortable, and they know that if they keep your test drive limited to just a certain amount of mileage, that you're going to be encapsulated by the sound, you're going to be encapsulated by the power of the motorcycle, and you're not going to be thinking about how uncomfortable your body is or how unnatural the riding position is. And I found that out really quickly on this long haul motorcycle trip. So about every hour, hour and a half, I was having to stop to fill up for gas every 2 hours anyway, even with a 3.5 gallon tank on it. I was having to fully like uncoil my back, my hamstrings. It was just so tight and uncomfortable. I wonder if I can just like fart down this trail right here. This is someone's land, but it's dirt and I want to, nah, you know what? I'm gonna get in trouble. And I don't want to get in trouble in Arkansas. Harley-Davidson freaking got me. I put it up for sale. At first, I had it up for sale for about 7,200 bucks. And then I didn't get any bites for a couple of weeks, and I couldn't really figure out why. And I realized pretty quickly that there were about 1,000 other Harley-Davidson Sportsters for sale within a 100-mile radius of my house. Now, granted, my Sportster looked very unique compared to other showroom models. So I found a guy who wanted to buy it, sold it for about 6,500 bucks. Sold everything that came along with it. I sold sissy bar bag, literally all the bells and whistles, the old tank, everything. Sold it all to this guy. I was actually a little bit worried that I was gonna feel some remorse for having sold that motorcycle, that I was gonna miss it, and I don't miss it at all, because after I've spent some time on some other motorcycles, I realized that the Sportster 48 is really not that special. It really doesn't have anything to draw you in. And the only way that it can draw you in is if you make a ton of changes to it. In such a case, why buy the bike? Just get something different that fits your needs, instead of buying this platform and then making it fit your needs. I think that's the great scam for Harley-Davidson, is let's make it shiny and let's make the engine big, and then people might buy it. But then when they get on it and they ride it for a while, they realize that it actually kind of sucks. I'm actually more comfortable on this FE 450 dual sport on the interstate than I was on my Harley-Davidson. The suspension's better. The seating position is better. And I realize that for some people the look is everything. I realize that. For me it was. For a little while it was. And then I started to really understand what motorcycling means, or at least means for me. And the Harley didn't do the trick for me. It just wasn't good. And I gotta give some credit to some people in my life that sort of showed me the light. When I took that motorcycle trip with David Lane, which we're gonna be doing in a couple of weeks, I thought he looked ridiculous on his 2005 V-Strom, his high-vis yellow jacket, his high-vis yellow helmet, and that's because I had a Harley, and I was a Harley bro. But now I get it. So from personal experience, I guess what I'm saying is, Harley isn't making a motorcycle that's special right now. I was the target market, and it didn't even work on me. I mean, I guess it did. I bought a bike, but I'm not living the Harley lifestyle and like buying the Harley-Davidson, you know, accoutrements. I'm not going back into the showroom and saying, "Ooh, I had one Harley and I want another one." Harley-Davidson sold itself as this all-American staple, and what I kind of found was like a boring old man disguised as a Sportster. And I think that's what Harley's problem is. There's nothing exciting. Nope. Definitely wouldn't get on that scooter with that lady. And the other great sort of like oxymoron, you know, if I had actually stuck with the Harley community, where would I have fit in? A 30-year-old, 155 pounds, walking into a biker bar? And I don't think I would have been accepted by the Harley community rolling up on a Sportster. There are tons of people who think that Sportsters are for women. Is it sad that Harley-Davidson is going away? I'm not sure they will. But to me, a little bit, yes, it is sad. Well, they're such an American icon. You know, when you think Milwaukee, you think Harley. But will I miss it when it's gone, if it goes? No. Because I'm never going to be one to say, I missed my chance to own a Harley. Because I actually had one. And I can honestly say, it wasn't that good. It was exciting at first. When you go in the showroom and they're like, "Oh, what do you ride?" And you're like, "I have a 48." And they're like, "Oh, super cool. Well, look at all these other bigger bikes." And see, that's the thing about Harley. It's like they're constantly trying to upsell you on the bigger bikes. I guess I'm not a Harley rider, and I never have been one. But Harley made me think that I was a Harley rider. And I think that's why I'm telling you this. Is like, if you're a new rider out there, Motorcycle marketing is incredibly good at luring you in to buying motorcycles that aren't right for you. Harley-Davidson specifically, trying to sort of remarket themselves, trying to sort of brand themselves as the young, cool, hipster motorcycles. Find what you like. It's gonna take a bike or two for you to really figure that out. You can fake it. I could have faked it and said, you know what, that's my Harley, and I'm sticking with it forever. But it just wasn't worth it to me. Harley is all about, what do other people think of me when I ride my Harley? Maybe it's not all about that, but I think there's an aspect to Harley-Davidson that's heavily laden in like self-image. Nobody looks at me on this white plastic dual sport motorcycle, but it's what this bike can do for me that is much more important than what I look like when I ride it. And so that's what I wanted to say today. Harley-Davidson's in trouble, and I'm not sure they'll ever be exciting enough to find the rider clientele that's going to save them. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon.